Hey, it's Time of Dish with D. That's me. I thought I'd do this video. I get asked a lot of questions about Weight Watchers, the plan I'm on, the company itself, and I thought I would put my most frequently asked questions together in a video because maybe it'll help somebody else out who might have the same questions and don't want to ask. So I got my cute little ideas book at the Dollar Tree and I could put my ideas in there. So this is my first one, so I'm super excited. So this is where my notes are read. So these are my top things I get asked a lot about Weight Watchers. Not in any particular order, like I don't get asked one more than the other, but these are just the things that popped into my head that I get asked all the time. So maybe it'll help somebody else. Let's get started. The difference in the plans. D, what's the difference in the plans? Do you think you lose quicker on one plan versus the other plan? Okay. Now, we know, I'm going to go over this for those of you that don't know or need a refresher. Weight Watchers at this point in their juncture offers 3 different plans, all under the Smart Points formulation umbrella. They offer the green plan, which is the basic plan, which is you get the most points per day and only 100 0-point foods, which do not include starchy vegetables like corn and peas. Then you have the blue plan, which gives you the minimum of 23 points a day and 200 0-point foods, which include all of the ones in the green plan, plus those starchy vegetables and most lean proteins, non-fat Greek yogurt, eggs, just for a start. And then you have the purple plan, which has the least amount of daily smart points, 16, and includes all the first 2's plans, 0-point foods, and 100 more. So it's 300 0-point foods, which include, for instance, brown rices, quinoa, potatoes, sweet potatoes and white potatoes, popcorn, oatmeal, and so on. Most of those foods are whole in their form. And what I've learned in taking a nutrition class is a lot of those foods are broken down into energy versus stored fat. So I believe a lot of those are more whole, better choices. Again, in my opinion, should be weighed and measured and only eating a serving. That's just my opinion. Yes, they're 0-point foods. There are not 0-calorie foods. So which means they do pack calories. And if you go over calories, yes, on 0-point foods, you will gain weight. That's the nature of the beast. And your weeklies stay the same no matter what plan you're on, depending on how much weight you have to lose. Your weeklies change depending on if you lose so many pounds. I think there's a minimum of, I have 26, I believe. And I think the next one, they go down in increments of 6 or 8. I don't remember, it's been a while. 35 was my favorite number. But you also have a Smart Points budget every day. There is a range you get the blue dot. You can go so many points under the amount of points and so many points over and still be in that blue dot range. So you say you have 23 blue points. You could have 28 and still get a blue dot, and that's considered, yes, it will take away from your weeklies, but it's still considered in the healthy eating zone. But if you go under your points by so many, like I said, you're allowed to probably go under by, I think, 8. Don't quote me on that one. You can bank up to 4 points per day that go into your weekly budget. So say you have a wedding coming up on the weekend. You might want to go under 4 per day and bank those so you have extra points at that affair. Does that mean, there's different schools of thought whether eating more points on one day affects your journey or not. It's all up to your own body. So I couldn't sit there and say, well, eating that many points is fine, eating that many points is not fine. Honestly, it's never really bothered me. But for some people, I know they have issues with that. So like I said, know your body, know how it works. So that's the difference in the plans. They all fall under the Smart Points system, where you take calories, saturated fat, proteins, and sugar off of the ingredient label, and you put them in the calculator. It comes up with your Smart Points value per serving. That is under all 3 plans. And if something, say a Built Bar, is the same on all 3 plans because there's nothing 0 in it. Now, if you had something like that had brown rice in it, it might be lower on the purple plan than blue and green. But if something is a general, like a bag of chips, going to be the same on all 3 plans because it has nothing. Oh, would it be 0 on purple? I mean, it wouldn't be 0, but would it be lower? Because I would say no, it'll probably be the same because once it's in a form like a potato chip, I think it falls under this, which to me, I don't get that. I can't explain that one. I don't work for Weight Watchers. Let's put that out there. I don't work for them. This is just the knowledge that being on their plan for so long, that I've come, and I'm just sharing that. I mean, like, if you look at the Weight Watchers, this always gets me. You're going to laugh. The Weight Watchers, in their store, they sell oatmeal cups. Well, they're the same on all 3 plans. Well, how can that be when oatmeal is 0 on purple? Well, I chatted with them, and her answer wasn't good enough for me. I understand it has points because there's other things added in there, and I agree with that. But the oats themselves have points, so that you should have to deduct that. That's my pet peeve. Let's go on to the next one. I have a lot of pet peeves. Goal weight. They don't talk about goal weight like they used to. Back in the day, you would join, and then the next week you would pick a goal weight. I mean, granted, you could have 150 pounds lose. They would give you that. They go by the BMI chart. I think it's called the BMI chart. It's the basic chart. And do I think it's unfair? Yes, I do. I do. I'm not going to lie. I think it's a chart that's a general chart. I think that people have different circumstances that's not taken into consideration. But that's what they go by. I didn't pick my goal weight till I was like probably 20 pounds from goal. So they don't really talk about it that much. Like I said, back in the day, it was like, you pretty much joined, and I think it kind of like came with everything. They don't talk about it now. I guess they just want you to get healthy and not worry about the goal weight, which, goal weight can be overwhelming. Let's talk about my goal weight. I walked in there at 270 pounds. My goal weight would have been a range between 117 and 146. Do I want to think about that when I'm at 270? That's 100 and some pounds to lose. That's over, and I knew that's what it was. And you're sitting there, you're overwhelmed at the number, and they don't want you to get so focused on that because sometimes they're all about the end. Sometimes it's about the middle. Always something to think about. Snacks. Do you eat snacks on your journey? Yes, I do. Every day, not always, but yeah, mostly during the week. Now, granted, sometimes they're 0-point snacks, sometimes they're pointed snacks. Just depends on what I feel like, what I'm in the mood for, what I have points for the day. If I'm having a low point day, yeah, I'll have a pointed Built bar or a bar or some little packs of individual 100 calorie nuts that are like 3 points. So yeah, so I definitely will fit snacks in. My favorite snack is a 1-point rice cake, and they're hard to find. Sometimes they're 2 points. You got to scan them. You got to know. Scan everything. And you I like to get peanut butter powder and reconstitute it with Skinny Syrup's peanut butter cup or cashew milk. Doesn't cost anything. And you spread it on your rice cake, and you put like grapes. It's like peanut butter and jelly. It is so good. Or getting an apple, peeling it, slicing it, throw a little PB2 powder on top, shake it, and it coats the apples. Phenomenal. So mostly fruits, bananas, plums, apples. Now it's watermelon, cantaloupe, and honeydew season. Grapes, strawberries. It's mostly, I want to say, fruits because I don't eat enough fruit, which I say all the time. Sometimes it's even hummus if I have hummus around. Those little mini bags of pretzels you get from the Dollar Tree. Phenomenal. They're 1 point each. I tend to like to buy things wrapped because it's just less I'm going to eat. Because if I grab it out of the bag, will I eat more than a point's worth? Probably. Not much more, but weekly points. Will you gain if I eat my weekly points? People say they get. This is a hot topic, and I'm not quite sure. Weight Watchers designed the plan for you to eat weekly points. I don't think they designed the plan to dangle those weekly points in front of you for you not to eat. Having said that, if you start off your journey not eating your weekly points, and I'm not telling you to eat them if you're not hungry, but if you're going to bed hungry, there's a problem. Or you're leaving the day hungry, there's a problem. If you start undercutting your points in the beginning of your journey, you're always going to have to. So when you dip into those weeklies, you probably will gain a little bit of weight. Why? Because you started off here instead of started off here. They gradually decrease for a reason. So if they're decreasing and you're decreasing, think about that. You know, think about how many calories or points you've ingested before you went on your journey. I guarantee you it's more than your weeklies and your dailies combined. So think of it that way. So I'm often said, even like banking points, if you're not hungry, I'm not telling you to force yourself to eat. But if you're denying yourself something because you want to save points or you're afraid to eat under your points, there's a problem. So I'm a person who uses her weeklies on like incidentals, like cheese, because I don't really like cheese. But you know, I put it on things. Olive oil, I put it on everything. So yeah, when I saute, I use olive oil. So yeah, my points go for avocados, mostly fats and dairy, because we have to count that. And as women, we should be having dairy. There's a certain milligram we need to meet for our bone health. So yeah, I'm eating, that's where my weekly points go. Oh yeah, and sometimes there's an occasion where we're out and I have I've been splitting dessert. So yeah, I spend a few points on dessert or the bread basket. I'm not eating like I used to, but yes, I have these points to use and I definitely use them. 0 point foods. Can I use as much as I want? No. 0 points have calories. 0 pointed foods have calories. Think about it. An egg has between 75 and 80 calories, depending on the size of your egg. So if you're having 4 of those, that's 300 and some calories. A normal person's diet should have between 14 and 1600 calories, especially where I'm at. So if you're just starting out, you know you're going to have bacon with those eggs and probably toast, because that's what I would have. So think about what you've eaten. Maybe 2 eggs are a better deal than 4 eggs. I just feel like if you go on the app and you put in rice, it'll tell you what the serving size is and the points for that serving size. Same thing with purple. Just because brown rice is on there and it's 0 points doesn't mean I could eat the whole bowl or the whole pot. The chickpea pasta, 0 on purple. Can I have as much as I want? Honestly, I weigh and measure no matter what plan I'm on. I have the same amount of brown rice on blue as I do on purple, as I would on green. It's portions. And you have to keep portions in check. So yes, weighing and measuring should be done on all 3 plans. And I would eat the same, like I said, on purple as I would on blue. Exercise. Do I have to exercise to lose weight? No. I lost 115 pounds within a little over 2 years with 0 exercise. It's not something I was, I just I'm not an exercise person. I don't like it. I don't feel I get high or endorphins from it. I don't look forward to it. Well, because we'll get to that. I do it now. I didn't through my weight loss journey. I made goal with 0 exercise. Did I track steps? Yes. Did I track steps at a certain, did I go after a certain number? No. I just knew what I was doing. And with work and whatever, I would be able to, the more I lost, the more I was able to do. So I was able to you'd see my steps would go from 2,500 a day to 5,500 to 6,000 to 7,000. On a normal day, I get about 7,000 steps without exercise. Now I do a Leslie Sansone with my group, the Glam Squad, and that is something I formed last year during COVID. We exercise on Zoom together with a Leslie. We share the screen. So I do that 5 days a week for 20 minutes. I do 1 mile. That is it. Nothing more, nothing less. I do it to tone. I do it to move my body and my joints. Do I do it to lose weight? No. Do I think if I exercise more, I'll lose weight more, as I always get asked? I would think yes, because you're burning more calories. But I do think if your body gets used to burning those calories, it looks for it. So when you don't do it, will you gain? I think personally you would. I don't know that for sure. It's just kind of my experience. I'm not a person, this is not an exercise channel. I think if exercise is something you want to do, you should do it. I'm not telling you to join a gym. I'm not telling you to come to Glam Squad. I'm saying if you want to do it, it's there. I think everybody has their own methods of what they do, but I do think if you exercise excessively, it definitely will show in your weight loss, and it is something you're going to have to maintain. What you do to lose the weight, you'll have to do. It's like live it. You got to lose it like you're going to live it. So if you're going to lose it through exercise, you better live through exercise, because you're just going to put it back, because your body's used to burning X amount of calories. So if you're not doing that, it's just not going to do it. personal opinion, of course. Eating out. Can you eat out on plan? Abso-freaking-lutely. I eat out a lot on plan, especially on blue and purple. Green you can too, since you have to count your protein. Chicken and fish are all 0 points. Honestly, it's the way it's prepared that you have to count it. Now you could ask anybody at a restaurant not to use, like butters or oils and stuff, and they will prepare your food any way you want. They're out there to please you, especially waitresses will make sure it's done right. So, and a nice lean steak, a baked potato with, you can put your butter on yourself, and I'm not saying not have butter and sour cream, I'm just saying put it on yourself. You can control how much you put on, because if they bring it out, they're putting on way too much. Vegetables are always offered at restaurants. If you feel like you don't have enough points, then have 2 vegetables and no potato. But you can have half a baked potato. So there's always ways around it. Like I said, there's always grilled chicken options. There's always fish, shrimp. There's always so many things out there that you could have. When I go out for lunch, it's a little bit harder because I don't want to have the bread. So I always opt for like one of those big entree salads that usually have chicken or shrimp on top, dressing on the side, DDP, dip, don't pour. Dip your fork in the dressing so you're not globbing it on there. So I'm all about a DDP. That was from Hungry Girl. You don't remember Hungry Girl? DDP. So yeah, so I'm a person who definitely enjoys going out. And I used to be a person that didn't. So I love to eat out. So if anybody asks you out to eat, you go. Be mindful, check ahead. If you know where you're going, check ahead online and look at their menu. Pick your meal out, track it, and then know what you're going to have for the rest of the day. So you won't have to get there and stress about it. Points versus calories. I have a whole video, and if I remember to link it, I will, but this is a brief synopsis. Calories are important. Calorie count why do I not count calories? Okay. I say this all the time. Weight Watchers bases our system on points. Calorie counting isn't anything new. It's been around, since the 60s, 70s. The reason it's never successful is it's very hard to maintain. Now, people do it and they have apps, and that's wonderful. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. I am not that dedicated to putting everything in there, because calories have to count everything. You have to count lettuce, celery, onions, pepper. That's all in my one salad. I could probably have 18 things to put in my salad. So by the time I put that all in there, I would lose interest in eating. But one thing about points is it's not all about the calories. Points take into account the sugar content, the protein, and the saturated fat, along with the calories. So it's not just a single digit number. You're looking at the whole food. It's to me, in my opinion, a wholer food approach to eating. Like, yes, I want to eat lower pointed foods because they're lower in sugar and higher in protein and lower in saturated fats. Those are the foods we should be geared towards eating. Those are our better choices. That's why they're lower in points. But I will link that video. It explains it a whole in depth. I did an article that I read. It was really good. So that is why I choose points over calories. Do I think Weight Watchers will change to calories? I do not. I don't know this for sure, of course. But they've based everything on the point system. Now, will they add a secondary metric to measure calories? Possibly, because if you go into the app, it does register calories per item. It doesn't total it. So I'm thinking maybe they're going to total these like your protein, like your macros. So maybe they're going to do that. But they are points system. And for them to go away from that defeats their whole system. This does. Food swaps. Do you food swap certain things? I do. Do I food swap a lot of things? Sometimes, not everything. Because remember, like I love zucchini noodles. And I make no bones about that. I love zucchini noodles. I love zucchini and tomato sauce. But if you just eat zucchini and not eat regular pasta through your whole journey and all of a sudden decide, well, okay, I'm done now. I'm going to eat my pasta. My suggestion is always, yes, eat the zucchini noodles, but mix it with your pasta. I have 2 ounces, 1 cup of cooked pasta for dinner when we have spaghetti. I'm Italian. And I eat the regular semolina pasta. I don't eat the Barilla protein one. I don't eat the carbonara. I eat regular Barilla San Giorgio ShopRite brand. 1, it's cheaper. 2, I like it. I grew up on pasta, so I've crowned myself a pasta snob. I've been told that this other pasta, is it carbonara? Well, there's one of them that's supposed to be really good. I have it to taste. I haven't done it yet. But I say take your portion of pointed pasta, mix it with the zucchini noodles. So this way your portion of pasta goes from this to this and costs you no points. And let me tell you something. Zucchini and pasta and tomato sauce is the bomb diggity. I don't cook it. What I do is I plate up my pasta with my sauce and my meatball, and I put my zucchini, actually I put it on top of the zucchini. So the heat of the pasta and the sauce, I toss it, and that cooks it. I tried putting it in the water with the pasta sauce, it got too mushy. So I'm about texture. So I find the heat of the pasta, I use about like one small zucchini, I use my zoodler. So it's probably a nice heaping cup of zucchini noodles. It's perfect. In fact, I'm the envy of my house because everybody here loves zucchini. And they're gonna be like, you didn't make that for us? I'm like, no, because you could have more spaghetti. So yes, I definitely am in for that swap. Same thing with the cauliflower rice. I like cauliflower rice, but is it rice? It's good, but it's cauliflower. And I find when you cook it, it gets to be mushy. So what I do is I make regular rice and then throw a little bit of uncooked cauliflower rice in the mix. Like I've made Mexican cauliflower rice, I think we've all done that. And just add it in. So your little bit of rice turned into a lot of rice and you've bulked it up with vegetables. So I'm telling you to mix it in. That's what I do. I mix it. I don't sit there and go totally zucchini, total cauliflower. I kind of mix it. And there's other things that, like I do like the 647 bread, which is the bread that we use. It's 1 point for one slice, 2 points for 2 slices. It's the Schmidt's Baking Company. I don't know if anybody can, it's not all over the United States. It's in a lot. It's in this part of the country. I know the people on the West Coast can't get it, but they get it online at Nutrition. It is a low point bread. Yes, I spend a little bit of extra money for my bread. I like to have 2 slices of bread. And honestly, there's nothing wrong with that bread. It's very good. Yeah, it might cost me for something a loaf, but these are little things that I'm willing to put out that help me on my journey. Would be that. And some protein mixes that I buy and the sugar-free puddings. I love to incorporate a little bit of those things. Like they were all made for diabetics. That's why, that's where they came up. Weight Watchers does not, let me repeat that. Weight Watchers does not promote sugar-free and fat-free. If you look at their recipes, most of their recipes have maybe low fat or regular fat and regular sugar. The community would look at that recipe and say, hey, I could put monk fruit sweetener and lower the points. Hey, I could put fat-free cottage cheese or yogurt and lower the points, or fat-free half and half and lower the points. It's not Weight Watchers promoting it, it is the members trying to save at a few extra points. And that's fine. That's nothing wrong with that. Is it going to hurt you? No. Is it going to infringe on your journey? Some people would say yes. Honestly, it never infringed on mine. Quite honestly, I've often made the pound dropper cheesecakes with the sugar-free pudding and the yogurt. Love those. I've done a few riffs of hers on this channel here. So good. It's just, it's all about your mindset. If your mindset thinks it's interfering, then yeah, it could be. But is it? Probably not. This journey is all mindset. If things bother you, sometimes you just make them bigger than they really are in our heads. Kind of like, you have to have the correct mindset to be on this journey. You have to think positive. You have to take the good with the bad. There's going to be weeks that are you going to lose every week? I get asked that all the time. No, you're not. Is it okay not to lose every week? It sure is. I mean, your body's not always going to give you what you want it to. And that's just the nature of the beast. I mean, when I was heavier, sure, I probably had losses several weeks in a row. But getting down the last 14 pounds took me 6 months to get off. And my first week on Weight Watchers, the blue plan, I lost 10. So that just goes to show you that how the beginning of your journey versus the end of your journey, and like me being on maintenance now, I'm trying to lose like 3 pounds. It's going to take me probably a month and a half, maybe 2 months, because I'm at the weight where I'd really have to starve to lose. And I'm not willing to do that because, again, what's the mantra? Lose it like you're going to live it, because that's the game. The game that we play with ourselves is we have to stay the course. And if you're undercutting the course, you're always going to have to undercut it. And you want to live the rest of your lives in denial? Because you're not. You're not. If you're like, it's like people who say, oh, I don't need a snack. I'm fine with this. You could be fine now, but a few months down the line, 6 months, are you going to be fine? What happens when you go for that snack? You're going to have a gain that week. Is that going to be the snack's fault? It's not going to be the snack's fault. It's going to be your fault because you ate too less during your journey. So when you're eating less and you go to eat normal, your body's acting like it's gaining weight, because you can't go from eating 800-900 calories to go eating 1,400 and think it's not going to matter. Even though 1,400 is perfectly normal for your body frame to lose, but not when you're eating 900. So take that into consideration when you're losing. You know, it's just, you have to just do the plan as the plan is written. Follow, eat your points with good stuff. Like, there's plenty of fruits and vegetables we should be eating. There's wonderful little, like I think when people say, oh, I don't have a cracker, or I don't have a pretzel, I don't have ice cream. Now, for some people, it could be a kryptonite thing. Like if they have a little bit of ice cream, it's going to set them off. Well, then that's something different. That's a totally different animal. But let me tell you something. The more you stay on plan, the more you can. The more, like I feel like sugar was such an addiction for me that once I felt like I detoxed, I don't crave it as much. So for me, that's been a help. You have to, and fitting in things, like planning to have a snack. I also have a video on snacks versus treats. I'll link that here because it's extremely important to know the difference. And because when you treat a treat like a snack and a snack like a treat, there's a difference. Because if you're eating your delicious treats for snacks, when you want a treat, you're not going to think of that as a treat anymore because you've had it as a snack for so long. If you keep having Built Bars every day and you want to have something special, Built Bars become mundane because you've had them so much. That's why I don't have them as often. And when I have them, it's like a little candy treat. So fit in those treats. I have mug recipes here on the channel. I have little cakes here on the channel. I don't have them every day. Maybe a couple days a week. There's a cheesecake in a mug. That's fantastic. Something like that. It's decadent and it's absolutely yummy. And it fits into your Smart Points budget. Win-win. I'm a one and done kind of gal. One recipe, one thing to eat, and you're done. I don't have a cake sitting in there staring at me, because let me tell you something. It calls my name. Even though I'm through, like I just said about the sugar, but I still think about it because it's all up here. So that is it. I hope you enjoyed my top things I get asked about Weight Watchers. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If I missed something, please let me know. Comment below and I will put it on the next one. So if you haven't already subscribed, hit that subscribe button. There's a lot of fun things going on in Dish with Dee's community. You want to be part of that. Hit that notification bell. Let you know when I upload, because you want to know that as well. So have a great day. We will dish another day, folks. Thanks for sitting through this rather long video.